Good morning, everybody. So today I'm going to do the 3-4-3, and I'm going to concentrate on the, as they call it, the ice hockey puck method. I just want you to see how I keep the dough from sticking to the table, because that's very, very important when you're rolling it out to get even layers, okay? So I have my dough, I have my butter, and again, I'm just going to show you the temperature here. My butter is 11 degrees, okay? And you can see that it's actually it's flexible, okay? It's not hard going into the dough. It has to be flexible. Otherwise, it's not going to roll out properly, okay? So, the size, the butter block itself is 300 grams. It's 240, roughly by 200 in this case, okay? And the dough then is roughly a little bit over twice that. It's 410 long and it is 240 wide. So what I'm going to do is take my butter block that I prepared, and as you can see, it is nice and flexible, okay? That is so important. Because what happens is when you try to do the lock-in, if your butter is too hard, it shatters. And you get this kind of a marbled effect and you lose the layers. So you can see by putting it in plastic, just move it towards the camera there a little bit better. By having it already in plastic, it's just so easy to make your butter block. Okay, nice and neat. So you can see there, if I try to push it now, it's stuck, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dust of flour underneath. And if you look at the difference now, okay? The dough is sliding literally like an ice hockey puck across the surface of the table, okay? And that's very important, because again, that helps to give you nice even layers when you're rolling it out. So I'm just going to cut at the edge here. So this is the first three. With my rolling pin, I'm literally just going to brush off the excess flour. Okay. So here we are. It's nice and even. We have a nice square block. So I'm just going to use forward pressure. Now, if you look here, this is very important. As I roll the dough, it flows. Okay, it flows forward. You can see it flowing there. And then I'm going to lift it up and flip it over. Just rub it in a bit of flour that's on the table. So you can see again, it's not stuck, okay? So I'm going to turn it this way, so you can see again, a little bit of flour. Rolling the pastry in the flour. You can see it's not stuck, it's flowing. So I'm going to start here. Again, you can see how the pastry is moving. It's not stuck to the table. Nearly there. I'm just going to roll it out another small bit, so I'm happy. I'm going to come back here one more time. So this is all about hand lamination. If you have a sheeter, this will be done far quicker. The same principles apply. So now my little block of pastry has expanded with the rolling, so it has kept more or less its height. So it's 230, and it's let's see, it's about 740 long. So I'm going to give it a book turn. So I'm going to turn in the pastry here. I'm just going to square it off. Okay. I want to do the same here. I'm going to turn it in. I'm just going to square that. So it's like doing a nice jigsaw puzzle, okay? You're just putting the pieces together. You'll notice I didn't cut off any ends. I didn't cut any waste off because I want to use all the pastry when I'm making my pastries. I don't want any waste. I want to be able to use every single bit. You can see here the elastic recoil is starting to kick in, so we're going to fix that by cutting the pastry. Okay, so I'm literally going to cut a sharp knife. I'm going to cut that down to prevent the elastic recoil. The same here. And again, I'm going to do it on the leading edge down here. And what that does is that helps me to keep the pastry in a nice rectangular shape, which you can see here. Okay, the dough stays nice and flat and holds its shape. So to ease the elastic recoil, the last bit I'm just going to cut here. We've given the pastry a 3 and a 4. Again, I'm going to put some flour underneath. Ice hockey puck again. You can see the pastry is actually flowing on the table. It's not stuck. So I'm going to start rolling. And again, if you look at the head here, watch as the pastry flows. Okay, it moves back towards me. It's a really easy way of doing this to make sure that your pastry isn't stuck. Is to pick it up and flip it. Okay, flip it over. Again, you can see there, I'm just checking, I'm making sure the pastry is never stuck. So this time I'm going to just finish up with a 3 turn. Just want you to see the dough here. And you can see that the pastry has kept its shape. The block is very square. The ends are quite square. So one more time, just got to flip. Okay, left and right. The dough is not stuck. And this one is going to be a 3-fold. So I'm just going to give it a fine little roll out with my hand. Brush the pastry. Make sure that it's not sticking anywhere. And to spray it with a little bit of water so that the layers stick. Just going to brush that in. What this does, just make sure that there's no excess flour stuck to the dough. So we're going to do a 3-fold, and to make it nice and neat, I'm just going to trim the edge here. So this is the one and only time that I'm actually going to trim the pastry. Okay, I'm just going to cut that so you can see I have a nice straight edge here, and you can see the layers. So I'm just going to patch that in, and the dough is quite sticky now because I've sprayed it. And then I fold over. Okay, so you can see we have our 3 layers. Now the final thing, and I do refer to this a lot in the book, you can see how thick the dough is at the moment. So if we measure it, you can see that it's about 35. Sorry, I'll put it in here? It's about 35. So it's going to take a long time for the fridge or the ice blankets to penetrate into the core here, into the center. So in order to help that or alleviate the problem, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very briefly roll the dough one more time. I'm just going to reduce the thickness of the pastry block down to between 12 and 15. Okay. So now the butter I'm using, you might be saying, oh, but you can only make that with specialized butter for bakery. This butter is a butter called Avenor butter. It's butter here in Ireland. It's an unsalted butter and it has 83% fat. And I find it very nice to use. Again, very important that you wrap your dough, your pastry in plastic. So I'm going to put it in the middle of this plastic sheet. I'm going to completely surround it so the pastry doesn't skin, okay? So that's the 3-4-3, as I call it. It's the ice hockey puck method, in that pastry is always moving, okay? It never sticks to the table, and that's very, very important. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, the 3-4-3, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.